Hello everyone, this is me, the Undead Viking, and this is Micro Medusa. Micro Medusa is a two-player tile-laying, tile-drafting, with elements of bluffing, two-player adversarial game, where one person will take on the role of the Medusa, and the other person will take on the role of a hero that has been sent to slay said Medusa. Each player will have a set of tiles that are unique to their role in the game, and each round of the game consists of a tile drafting phase and then a tile placement phase. And depending upon what tiles the Medusa plays and the hero plays, there will be a conflict, and then you will have a resolution depending upon which tiles were chosen. It is a very quick game to learn, and it is a very quick game to grok, if you will. There's no big going back to the rules section where it's like, what does this happen when this happens kind of thing. No, I mean it's like there's probably 5 or 6 rules total, and once you start playing the game, it is very, very easy and very quick to play. I recently played this a great deal over the past weekend with my daughter, and we had a blast. It helped a little bit that she's taking mythology right now in high school, so she really dug it for that reason. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's show you how the game is played. I'll come back here and I'll give you some final thoughts. Well, as I said, Micro Medusa is a two-player game depicting a hero side versus a Medusa side. To begin the game, each person is going to pick whichever side they're going to start. When I played it, I found it challenging to have one person play one side first, then you switch roles the next game, because the games don't last very long. This is a very quick, decisive battle, so to speak. The Medusa player will have this large stack of Medusa parts over here. They get to draw one of those tiles secretly, so the player that plays the hero doesn't know what those are. And then they're going to turn 4 tiles over, revealing those, and those are going to be part of the draft phase. I'll talk more about those parts and what they are here in just a little bit. Let's talk about the heroes. The hero starts with 1 shield, 1 torch, and 1 dagger or blade, and 2 hearts. They also have a backup pile of 4 of these parts here, and they're one of each type of this. So there's a blade, there's a shield, there's a torch, and there's a heart. It's important to note that the hero's items don't really run out. I mean, you run out of hearts, because that's how the Medusa player will kill you, and I'll talk about how that works. But as the tiles go, if you draft, because the hero will draft 1 tile each round, if they draft a blade, that blade just goes back into the pile over here. You never use those up. I mean, other than your hit points, obviously. Alright, so once the game has begun and you've revealed those tiles, the Medusa player has taken one of those tiles and secretly looked at it, and let's just show you what it is. It's a snake head. Now the drafting portion starts. So the Medusa player will draft one of these 4 pieces and take it and place it face down over here. Then they'll take another one of these and reveal it, like so. And now, as me as a player, I know I have a snake. I know I have a snake part and a snake head, but the other player has no idea what this tile is. So what I can do is I can say, me personally, I can say, well, I can make sure I take an eyeball. I can have 1 of 3, which I'm going to do, but the other player has no idea. After I've drafted those three tiles, those are the 3 tiles I'm going to have for this next round when we actually get into the placement of the tiles. Now, the hero player gets to go and survey their other options over here, discern from what I've taken to see whether or not it's something, what they think I'm going to play. I have to play 2 of these tiles as the Medusa player, so I know for a fact one of the 2 tiles they drew, which was a snake part and an eyeball, you know for a fact that one of those 2 is going to have to be played, but which one? So as the hero player, you're going to want to take a tile that's going to protect yourself against that, theoretically. Now, I'm kind of burying the lead here a little bit, but I'm going to show you how each tile interaction works. But just so you know, shields protect you against eyeballs. Swords protect you against snakeheads, and torches protect you against the snake parts, or the snake sections, if you will. Well, I don't like the idea, since the eyeballs actually take away your hearts, and I know that they'll play. So I mean, I'm playing both sides here. I'm going to take another shield and place it like so, not knowing exactly what other option is out there. So let's just kind of go through how each of these work. So what happens after the hero's taken their one extra tile? They don't get these over here anymore. Then they're going to take one of their tiles, and I want to take like this one, and they're going to place that tile next to one of the tiles that's already played. The Medusa like face tile is the only tile that starts off. Now the other player, the hero player, picks one of their tiles and places it next to that. So let's we'll place it like so, and we're saying, I think that's an eyeball. So the player reveals it like so and shows that it is a snake part, and this shield is now going to do nothing because the shield only protects against the eyeballs. If I had played the torch next to that instead, the player would be forced to turn it over like that, and therefore actually blocking off a portion of where the Medusa can actually expand to. If the Medusa a player can ever not play a tile because they have no areas to go to, they will lose the game immediately. So that's where that is helpful. So let's just show some of the other interactions. So if it successfully gets played, the Medusa player gets to twist it around however they like, and to place it attached like so. So so we left that shield out there like so, and so obviously you probably wouldn't want to do that because the shield tile's out there. You place it like so, and now I get to place one of the other two. So I'm going to take this snake head. Now the other player doesn't know that. I'm going to place it over there. So the snake head is the one where the other player has no idea that I have that. Remember, it was the one that I had secretly. And so the player is going to be thinking, well, I know it isn't that, so I'm not going to play the torch anymore. But what do they have? Well, I have a shield, and I had that shield for a purpose, so I'm going to put it down like so, and then reveal that it is a snake head. And then this one will not work. Now, if I had played my blade, the blade, and this is kind of a rock, paper, scissors situation, the blade would take this and it would cut that off, and the hero could take that snakehead. If the hero ever gets to collect 3 of these snakeheads, they win the game immediately. So obviously, that is, whenever a Medusa player has to play the snakehead, you want to be careful not to place it in case they have a lot of blades, and you want to actually hedge your bets, so to speak. All right. So let's do one other thing here. Let's take that back actually, and let's say we placed the eyeball down. Now, if the eyeball gets affected by the sword or the torch, nothing happens. Nothing occurs. Nothing happens. I should say nothing happens to the eyeball. The eyeball gets placed like so, and I get to turn one of the hero's hearts to stone. If the hero ever has no hearts, then they are killed and they're done. So when you get one heart turned to stone, a lot of times you will have to draft. For every round, you'll have to draft this heart to place into this spot if you're worried about having your last heart turned to stone, which then limits the powers of the hero a great deal. Another little funky part of the game as well. A shield, however, if you played a shield next to an eyeball when it gets turned over, the shield blocks the eyeball and turns it over, and then again it becomes a tile that blocks a portion of the play area for the Medusa. It should be mentioned as well that if the Medusa player ever manages to get 3 snakeheads out onto the board, they win the game immediately at that point as well. There's also one other way the Medusa player can win, and I just got to find a couple of things. If the Medusa player ever has a chain, I got to find another snake section piece, of course, and notice how that's a powerful piece, the 4-way of the Medusa snakehead, because all of a sudden, boom, you can place tiles any direction from there. But if you ever get a 1, 2, 3 snake section part and then successfully attach either an eyeball or a snake head to that 3 section and successfully attach that, the Medusa will win the game immediately as well. The other way that the hero can win, if, like as I said, the Medusa player can't play any more tiles out, or collecting 3 of these snakeheads, or if the hero player can live through the process of the Medusa player going through all of their tiles, they'll win the game as well. So after a turn is done, after the Medusa player places 2, let's just pretend this was the situation, and we've gone on to the next turn, and the Medusa player has the 1 tile left over, like so, and we go on to the next turn. The hero player would return the extra piece back over to this spot, and then we do the exact same thing that we did before with the drafting, where the Medusa player will then has 1 tile left over, and there's a snakehead, and they're going to draft 1 of these, and then they're going to reveal another one, place it over like so, and then they're going to draft another one like so. And then you're just going to go through the same process. Hero player will take 1 extra. Maybe we're going to take that heart, like I said, to make sure that we don't lose the game immediately. If we lose, like our second heart gets turned to stone. And we're going to go through the same process again. Choose a tile, place it out. I don't remember this. This is an eyeball. And then they would place that shield next to the eyeball. We reveal the eyeball. We realize that we picked right, so we're going to turn that over and blocking that area. And then go on and so forth. The game just kind of goes like that exactly every single turn until eventually one of the winning victory conditions is met. This is a game of a lot of tension, a lot of bluffing, a lot of thinking, a lot of strategy, and a lot of fun too. But let me talk all about that in my final thoughts. Alright, so I should have mentioned that this obviously is a prototype that I was sent. I think that the game will look a lot like what I showed you, but it could change between now and by the time the game is published. What do I think of the game? Well, I mean, if you've been watching ever since the pandemic and things like that, and the reviews that I've done, I've mentioned that I've been playing a lot more games with 2 players. Either the game itself is a 2-player game, or I've just been forced to play the game 2 players. Why? Well, because my number 1 person to play games with is my daughter, and she is my go-to. She's there. And to be fair, I have played this game with my son as well. He's a little younger than his sister, and he is fantastic at lots of games, and he really enjoyed this too. But I was able to beat him more often than his sister, which I don't know if it's just whatever. It's just one of those things. But regardless, I enjoy 2-player games now. More so than I ever have. I used to be like, oh, if I can't have 4 players at the table, why bother? And that kind of mentality, which, really kind of probably, I keep thinking of all the 2-player games that I could have played that I probably just poo-pooed in the last decade or so. So, I don't know, maybe I should dig those out. But what about Medusa? What can I say about this? When I first read the rules, I was like, okay, this makes sense, and I thought it was going to be really, really straightforward. And the game is. The game is very straightforward. I mean, it's just, it's like grab your tiles, place them, figure out what happens, and then move on from there. But what I didn't realize right away was just how deep the I think that you think that you think that I think was going on. And I've always liked those games. If you've watched my videos over the last decade or so, I've used that you think that I think that I think that you think as a mechanism that I really, really enjoy. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember another game. Melee, I think, was the game or something like. But the same person that invented that produced Coup, or I might be getting that name wrong, but it's one of those things where it's like, do I think this person is going to play that tile? And what do I know about them that would let me believe that I should play a sword right now, or I should play a torch right now? It's one of those things where the outthinking yourself in situations really comes in handy. So many fun, agonizing moments when I was playing a Medusa player where my daughter or my son would know that I have 2 eyeballs and like a snake head, right? And so it's like they got that extra shield, and they're saying to themselves, well, I mean, he's got to play. He's got to play the eyeball right here, because he doesn't want to like jam himself, because if he plays the snakehead, then so they're sitting there thinking, I could see themselves talking themselves out of it, and then like I would play the snakehead, knowing full well that like they would know the next tile I played would be an eyeball, and I would be closing off a section of this Medusa head, which is something else that you have to think of too as a Medusa player. You have to make sure you're not trapping yourself. But the fact that I could get that snake head out and set myself up for a victory later, and they would be like, what? And wonderful little moments like that. And plus the game has a reveal moment. And I really like games that have a reveal moment. I love that buildup of tension and the reveal. And then the release of that tension. Makes for a fun game. Makes for an interesting game. And the fact that the game doesn't last long, it's like you play about 10 minutes maybe, makes it so you want to play it again. And again. And again. And I probably played this, like I said, I played it like 5-6 times with my daughter over this past weekend. Like 4 of those plays were like one evening, on Sunday evening. My son and I played it the preceding week. Like we played it like 3-4 times right in a row because he just wanted to keep playing, keep trying, and keep trying until he finally beat me, which was cool. And he beat me straight up, which I thought was awesome as well. It's one of those games where the deepness of the strategy is going to reveal itself to you over repeated plays. And since both people are going to know the rules very, very quickly and be able to play the game very, very quickly, you aren't going to be in a situation where it's like one person's played the game a ton and they know everything about it and they're like, oh, well, it's like, I'm going to destroy you for 10 games in a row, and then maybe you'll squeak out a win after a dozen plays or so. No, it's a game that even if one player knows how to play, after a single play, maybe the options and the strategies are evident, but the way you choose them and how you set yourself up for them and how you go about trying to win the game is completely different each time. And there's something. I remember when I would manage to get. There's nothing more sweet than when you have as the Medusa player, you have one of each, and the other player knows that you do. They know that you have an eyeball, a snake head, and a snake section, and so they just have no clue what direction you're going to go in with your first action, and so you just have that wonderful moment of uncertainty on their end. I'm also, when I played this game, both my kids, I was able to bust out my absolute favorite thing to do. Like whenever they started playing rock, paper, scissors with me, I will, this is mean, and I don't think you should do this, but like when I play rock, paper, scissors with my son, I'm like, hey, I'm going to do rock. So whatever you do paper, just trust me, I'm going to do rock. I'm going to do rock right now. And then like, he's like, don't say that. Just don't. That's not fair, And so, like, am I actually gonna do rock? I mean, they're gonna talk themselves out of it and go and think that And so it's the same thing with this. I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm putting an eyeball down, so you better use your shield. All right, let's go. And they're like, don't say it. Don't say it. Yeah, like my daughter literally did the no. I'm not listening to you, which I don't know. I found fun. But regardless, the game's a blast, and it is super, like I said, super easy to teach, super easy to learn, and super fun to play. So check it out, and maybe this would be another cool little 2-player game that you can throw in your backpack when you go to school or when you go to work and you got a friend you want to play while you're eating a sandwich over your lunch break, or you want to drag it to a convention when you're waiting for that big game of your friends to get done while you're waiting for them to come over and play the big game that you got set up. You need something to pass the time. Perfect little filler for that purpose. All right, so there you go. If you have any questions about that, please post them and ask away. If you think I've missed out on any 2-player game over the last 10 years and you think of a really awesome one that I don't know of, please tell me and let me know so maybe I can track those down. Until next time, I'm the Undead Viking. Take care of yourself, be good to yourself, be good to your family, and yeah, thanks a lot.